Hello, everybody. It is Friday, 3/3/23, which is a great date. It's March, my birthday month, and you are to What the Frick Live here on 107.7 FM New Orleans. And we are streaming live on all kinds of different platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Rumble, you name it. We are there, and we love you, and we appreciate you. And I have my surprise co-host, host. I hate to always say my co-host. Host, that is, I'm going to get emotional.
Oh, you're going to get emotional now.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you too. Oh, listen, thank you so much for having me back. Look what the cat dragged back in, huh? Right? After all this time.
I mean, I just feel like it's prodigal children coming back together. For What the Frick Live. Will Martinez,
hello, Emily.
Dark Fringe Radio.
Hi. Yes, yes.
He was with me for 2 years.
Strong and going long, and yeah, we did it good for a while, right? I'm back. We're ready to do this again.
And he's going to be back in the future for all kinds of other shows, and eventually every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love you, Will. You're like a brother. Thank you so much. This feels like home again.
Yes, we're going to do this right now.
Yes, tell us a little bit about Dark Fringe Radio, though. What's going on over there?
Well, we still got things going over there, Dark Fringe Radio. Been a little slow lately, but we started off the new year right. We're talking about a bunch of stuff. We had author, and he is also an activist. His name was I can't even bring up his name right now because it's just eluding me. But check out our website, darkfringeradio.com. Tony Brasunas, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Oh, Tony.
Yeah, he just came on. Yeah, and he wrote a book called Red, White, and Blind. And he was actually an author for the Huffington Post. And they basically blacklisted him from the Huffington Post because he wrote an article that was against what they were trying to push out as far as propaganda was concerned. So really interesting guest. And we had him on the podcast. And yeah, we're still going. We still got a lot of stuff going on darkfringeradio.com. So we really appreciate the support and check us out.
I'm going to put your website up here in a little bit, but you can also follow Dark Fringe Radio on Facebook, have it going down the bottom. And you know, that's why we're on radio now, What the Frick Live. I have been shadow banned on every platform possible. So we have to beat shadow banning. Podcasting and radio is the best way to go. We appreciate everybody that tunes in and listens and downloads. Thank you so much. Now, speaking of tuning in and everything, if you are tuning in via Facebook, we're using StreamYard. So you need to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook to give them permission to use your name and your picture so we know who you're talking about, because we love to have questions. The more questions, the more comments we get in the chat section, the more this shows up in algorithm, and we appreciate y'all. We have an amazing guest tonight, which is one of my dear friends. I love him so much. We have Jeremy York. He's from Things Network, or Things. I love the name Things because it can go with anything, and it reminds me of is it the Addams Family? The Things hand. I had that.
The hand, the thing,
the hand. But you just never know what's going to happen with things. But that means the Hoosiers investigating new ghost society, and he launched Things Network in 2021. He also is a host and co-host on several different shows, the 13th Dimension. And I watched that one, but Supernatural Talk's my favorite. I'm sorry, Jeremy. And he's getting ready to Marks on wrestling, which we all know as paranormal investigators love wrestling. So we're bringing Jeremy on right now. Thank you, Jeremy, so much for coming part of the show.
Hello, thank you for having me on here.
By the way, I have a new thing coming in. It's on back order. It's been on back order for 6 weeks. And if I don't get it in the next 3 weeks, I'm going to order that's going to have all these sound effects. I'm so excited.
Nice.
We're gonna have all that. So thank you so much.
I used to be partnered up with somebody who had those sound effects days. I'll tell you what, it's annoying as hell.
Well, I'm annoying too. I'm annoying, so I will do it. I want sound effects, and you know what? I would do it ta-da-da or something there when you said that.
Yeah. He would use different things, and he would also use it to where when he would speak, it would echo his voice. Hello, hello, hello. Did that to everybody? Oh, man, stop it! Please stop it.
Well, I just want to say this too, real quick. I just want to tell you, a lot of our regular viewers, hopefully they're tuning in tonight because I told everybody that Will Martinez is coming back.
Oh, you told them?
And then I said, if you all want to watch a show that's absolutely going to be awesome and amazing, Jeremy York is going to be on here. So
that's right.
Brad is already here. Brad, hello.
Yep.
Hey, Brad.
One of my minions.
There you go. There we
Love
go.
Brad. I love Brad. We all know what happened to Brad's life a couple of years ago. We're sorry. Y'all know that? The Crackle Barrel. Yeah. Remember that? They fired Brad's wife. Will, you don't know about it?
I don't know nothing about that. My name is Bennett, and I ain't in it. I don't know nothing about it.
We're going to plead the fifth on that one. How's that?
Yeah. I'll take the fifth on that one.
I would have to bring Brad's wife. I would have to bring that up.
Brad, do not even think about that.
Oh, Lord.
It was a huge thing.
But Brad is one of those guys. He's very, very close to all of us on Supernatural Talk, and he knows the buttons for every one of us.
Okay.
Brad's fun. Jill, I hope Jill pops on here. But anyway, Jeremy, I know I did a small introduction. If you want to add anything to that, can you just tell people who you are in general and where you're located, and if anybody wants to be part of things, how can they contact you?
Oh boy. So things is the Hoosiers Investigating New Ghost Society. I founded it back in 2009, and
I can't do that one.
I was going to say I have no idea what we were looking at.
Yeah, it won't let me do that one. It acted like it was going to. Go ahead.
So we do have a website, thingsghostsociety.com, and for anybody that wants to join us, all you gotta do is just message one of us. All of us are admin on the Things Universal page, which is Paranormal Universe. I forget how I have it titled. Brad, if you can put the title in the chat, that'd be appreciated. And what Things does is that, like most other teams, we go out and check places out, but our main goal is to handle residentials. We're not the ones that want to hit all the big name places, although it's nice, it's fun. But our main goal is to help people out if they're afraid of what's going on at home. That's where we want to make our mark, is to help people feel safe and to help people understand what actually is going home, whether if it's paranormal or not. And then,
well, good for you on residentials. I'll tell you this: I've done paranormal investigating for a long time. Residentials is hard to take on because it takes forever to go through this stuff. But real quick, why should you should stop harassing Crackle Barrel about Brad's wife?
It's a real article.
It is like Brad's wife. Listen, I worked at Texas Roadhouse on Saturdays during this time, and we even made like a little thing. We did not fire Brad's wife on our little.
Wow, this is a thing, huh?
It was the number one. I worked in the number one Texas Roadhouse in the nation during this time, and she lost her job at Crackle Barrel, and she was a really good hard worker, and how she lost her job was absolutely crazy, and it went viral.
Wow, that's amazing.
So Brad, every single time I see your name, even if it's on this show or if it's on Supernatural Talk, I think of your wife.
Wow. And he's always talking about his ex-wives.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he actually got me to the point where I actually feel bad for his ex-wife. Oh man,
Brad and I have a lot in common with. I have an ex-husband here. I'm sorry.
And the ghost cat. There's a funny story behind this.
Okay.
Last year, a whole bunch of us went to Ohio State Reformatory. First time ever going there.
I love Ohio State.
I could not believe how big this place was. So it was myself, Brad, and Brad's wife. Nick was around somewhere, but I don't think he was in this specific spot. But he was getting ready to leave the chapel. Actually, Brad, I think it is bigger than Waverly, to be honest. We were getting ready to leave the chapel, which is on the top floor, and getting ready to head up to the front part of the prison. where they had all the administration offices. Well, just as I was crossing that threshold, we stopped, just talking about something, and then all of a sudden, Brad just jumps like 10 feet up in the air. And I'm like, okay, what you spooked? He's like, dude, I swear I just saw a cat right there by your ankle. I looked down there, there's nothing there. But I'm not going to deny that he saw a cat.
Was it like a shadow figure?
He said it looked like it was a cat. And now here's the crazy thing. About a week later, I'm going. I have these trail cameras that I set up throughout the building, and I was going through some of the pictures to transfer them from the disk to the computer, and I actually caught a raccoon in the building. Just one picture out of all of them. Took thousands of pictures, and one picture caught a raccoon in there, and I go to Brad. I was like, hey, is this what you saw? He said, that was not it. But, oh, yeah, 6th floor challenge. That was.
Yeah, don't pay attention to comments, Jeremy. Don't, because you do that on your own. Don't pay attention. We're going to bring it up. Everything. Just tell us more about the raccoon.
Well, so I start messaging everybody that went with us. Hey, did you guys see a raccoon? Nobody had seen this thing. And this was less than 100 feet away from our break room where we've had pizza and everything.
Right.
And nobody had seen a raccoon. Nobody even knew there was a raccoon in this building. But my camera caught it. And the first thing I thought of was this ghost cat that Brad saw. But where the raccoon was seen on the picture, it was on the first floor in one of the jail cells, and where Brad saw the cat, we was up on the top floor.
Is that the third floor? The third floor challenge? What is it?
The
at Ohio State Reformatory? Is that what he's talking about, or is he talking about Waverly?
No, the 6th floor challenge out there.
Or 6th floor, I'm sorry. 6th floor.
Yeah, is over there at the Reformatory. And what it's the Reformatory is broken up into 2 cell blocks. One of them has 5 floors, the other has 6. The one on the 6th floor, you go all the way up to the top, and then you walk around, and it's all barricaded in, so you can't fall through anything. You can't fall to the floor. You can't get pushed off on anything. It's all straight up. And you walk around there without the use of your flashlight. That's really all it is. You're walking in the dark, making a complete circle around this block, pitch black.
That was the challenge.
Some of it is pitch black. Other places there is light because of the street lights shining in through the window. But once you get past, it's pitch black.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'd love to try that.
And
Martinez, I'm going to just tell you, Ohio State Reformatory and Waverly, both ways, is an hour and a half from my house. So you can come to Kentucky. You can stay at my home. I got a guest bedroom. You can stay, and we can go do this, and we can go live.
I don't have no problem doing that. No problem at all. Honestly, I'm ready to do something like that.
Now, here's the advantage that I had over everybody else. So because I wear this eye patch, my pupils are wide open. So if it's pitch black and I take the eye patch and switch it to the other eye, now I can see everything. So even though I'm not using a flashlight, my left eye is so wide open, I can see everything as I'm walking through on the 6th floor challenge.
Wow.
So I kind of had an advantage over everybody else.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
It is.
It said Kelly had something brushed through her legs like a cat would, and you had your foot pulled down. All behaviors of a cat.
I did. Yeah, I did feel my foot. We were actually sitting in the chapel, and the 3 of us, it was just me, Brad, and Kelly, and the 3 of us were trying to recreate something that a tour guide had told us about. So I was sitting in one spot, Brad was sitting in another, Kelly was sitting in another, and they were all the exact same places where the three people that that this tour guide were with, and we were trying to recreate what he saw.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of had something like that, but I ended up feeling like somebody was pulling my foot from behind me, and I thought somebody was sitting behind me.
Mm.
And real quick, and I want Will to ask questions. Real quick, when was this? When was your last time? Because there's if you're talking about Waverly, or when we're talking about Ohio State too, I think of you as Waverly though, because I think you invited me to Waverly, but I wasn't able to go. But real quick, with this is Ohio State Reformatory with the cat, right?
Yeah.
So you and then Brad said that Kelly had an experience with something close to the floor. I've had those experiences too in the state of Kentucky. Ohio State Reformatory is just an hour and a half away from me. So was any of this caught on video? Did you have any audio that backed this up, like kind of EVPs? Like of a cat?
Know.
Like I have animals. When I saw the cat or felt like the cat presence I've had actual EVPs, Class A EVPs of a cat meowing, and we talked about it looked like an animal. Do you have any kind of like things that we could look at visually with camera or audio to possibly back that up?
The only thing that was caught visually was that raccoon, and I don't do any audio. Other people within the group did, and we had more than just some members of things. We had Shadow, Brad and his wife there. We had people from Shadow Seekers Paranormal with us. They all did their own audio. I did not because of my hearing. Because audio is the worst thing for me to work with. So I primarily do pictures and video, and all I did was just pictures here, because in a building this size and being my first time there, I don't want to be spending an hour and a half trying to run cameras.
Yeah.
So all I did was I set up my trail cameras. I got 9 of them, and I set them out as we were doing the initial tour.
I think sometimes it's almost a better thing to do that. Like when you have somebody dedicated to the video only and you have somebody dedicated to the audio only. I think you find more evidence that way. That's just my experience from the things that I've done in the past. But when you have somebody dedicated to each thing, I think you find things better that way. Right. Just my opinion.
We should have a drinking game tonight. How many times we're going to say things? Thing.
I'll start it off.
You said it twice.
I got
twice,
right here.
Yeah, I did say it twice. You're right.
I had Coke in this. I didn't bring
it was Coke.
The rest of it. Yeah, I don't have that much, so I'm going to sip lightly on it. But that's Ohio State Reformatory, which is an hour and a half north of me, and then I have my own state, Waverly. You've been to Waverly a couple times. Jeremy, you invited me, and I felt bad I couldn't go. I've never investigated Waverly, never.
Yeah, I think that was the last time that I went there. Because that was when everything hit the fan with
no
the
margaritas.
No. Yeah, that was funny last week. Last week, Will, you missed out.
Did she get lit on margaritas last week? What happened? Tell me the truth.
Yes. And I'll tell you why, because Nick Millay, I love him so much, and Nick's part of things and everything. He's been on the show too. Nick Millay, I love him. He's just a really great guy, and it was his 30th birthday, so.
Oh, so you were celebrating for him. I see it.
I'm a lightweight. Everybody knows I'm a lightweight. 2 drinks does me in, but I had my 3rd, which is my max. And I had a 3rd that night. I am not 24. We had this thing that said that that one time when I was 24, it took me like 5 days to overcome, and I think that's what brought me into strep.
None of us do. Yeah. You got strep from that. Look at that.
And that's on Supernatural Talk. That's why it's my favorite.
Oh, okay. So that's why it's your favorite. I see it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then she had to bring it up again last night.
Right.
I did everything. Right. There needs to be, Jeremy, you need to do a shirt that says that one time when I was 24. I'll buy one.
Oh.
Yeah, I actually figured that had come from the song "When I'm 64" by the Beatles.
Well,
Well,
yeah, by the Beatles, right?
I was thinking Taylor Swift when I was 22.
Yeah. Jeremy, let me ask you a question. Like you go to these places like Waverly and Ohio State Reformatory. You think a lot of these places, like, obviously they're haunted in their own way, right? They have apparitions, they have spirit, they have energy. There's a lot of stuff that's been there. A lot of traumatic, events have happened there. Obviously, that leaves residual energy there, and that's just going to carry on forever. But you have a lot of people that are coming in and out of there too now. And there's a lot of energy coming in and out of there. You think that charges that place like that, a place like that, because of all these different people coming in from all around across the United States, and you bring in different energy, and some good, some bad. It's just like people. You know what I mean? Do you think that it helps and charges the energy up there?
It would depend, because let's think of it this way. Let's say I'm the ghost here in the house, and I've got people coming over all the time. Everybody are coming out every single night. Right. I'm going to get to the point where I'm not going to be doing anything except get the hell out of my house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think that having investigations nightly may end up doing more harm than good. Although I do understand the business aspect of it. But
of course,
places like Waverly Hills, everybody wants to go there. Ohio State Reformatory, everybody wants to go. Stanley Hotel, everybody wants to go. So I get that. There is a market for that. And that's the thing about the paranormal, is not necessarily just going out there and getting the experience, not just helping people, not just doing the research, but there's also a market behind that.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So there is money to be made there. Now, in terms of helping charging the place with the kind of energy that you're going to bring into, again, that's going to depend on what kind of people go to what places, and how well that's going to work. Because let's say I'm in an extremely bad mood tonight and I'm going somewhere. I'm actually going to turn that place off, because they're not going to want to mess with me, because I'm not a nice guy tonight. But let's say I'm doing real good tomorrow night and I go somewhere else, to be like, hey, you know what? I want to interact with that guy.
All right.
So it's going to depend. It's going to depend on who goes out there and what kind of intent they have, what kind of attitude they have when they go into a place, and also what kind of place this is.
Here's my thing, because I'm in Kentucky. Waverly's an hour and a half for me. I have never been. I want to go, and if there's an opportunity with you, Jeremy, and stuff, you invited me, and thank you so much. I couldn't go last year. I have family things going on. I don't like to travel that far out for a long period of time, but this year, if you all go back, I most likely will be able to go. But hint, hint, invite me. but with these big, large locations, I've investigated the Stanley Hotel 4 times, and I Trans-Allegheny in West Virginia, which is 2 hours from me. I'm in a perfect location with Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia, even Virginia. Some of the most haunted places ever within 3 hours.
Battlefields near you too, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So, but I have not investigated these places close to me because of I don't know who's been in there. I almost feel like it's a dumping ground. There's been some really strange occurrences and that's happened, and you don't know what kind of practices these groups have. What's really authentic to these locations anymore? I believe people bring things in and they leave them there. It's a dumping ground. So, I have not ever pushed myself out that hard to go. These Bobby Mackey's is another place. It's like an hour and 2 hours, maybe at the most from me. I've never pushed myself to go to these places that much because I don't know who's been in and out of those locations. Is that something we should worry about?
Possibly. Like I said, everybody goes in with different intentions. Whether they're good intentions or bad intentions, that's on them. We don't know. Let's say you're going to Waverly tomorrow. I don't know what kind of intention you're going to have going in on that night, because you may have a
Well,
specific idea that night than you would for, let's say, Mansfield the next night.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
well, I'm gonna throw Bel Air House in this for a minute. I think it's up for sale. Wasn't it up for sale for a minute? Bel Air House.
I heard about it.
Yeah.
I even sent a message and never heard back.
Well, Bel Air House, which is also an hour and a half from me. I listen.
Not an hour and a half away from.
Listen, I'm in Ashland, Kentucky. Look it up. I'm in the very tip northeastern part of Kentucky. Ohio, West Virginia. I'm in tri-state area of Ohio, West Virginia. I'm telling you, I'm in a perfect location. I have friends that are in the paranormal. I'm like, if you want to move somewhere, you need to move around me. That one place in Virginia is 3 hours from me. It starts with an A. I can't remember. It'll come to me here in a few moments. But I'll just tell you this real quick with the Bel Air House up in Ohio. I listened to one of her podcasts because I wanted to go there. And I don't know. I think the owners of these locations is a crucial role in this, because Trans-Allegheny, which is an hour, 2 hours probably from me, and how they treat Trans-Allegheny is absolutely phenomenal. It's beautiful inside and out. They take care of this location. Then we have other locations that's large that, yeah, they take care of it, but are they just wanting the money? And Trans-Allegheny is really careful about who they let in and who they let out. Well, Bel Air House, I listened to her podcast one night, and she told me that she let this all women's group in. She got, or not me, and she was telling the podcast, she let this all women's because she's a woman, and she's like, well, it's an all women's thing. It's no big deal. I'm going to let them in. So anyway, later on that night, she just got this feeling about what was going on. So she called the person that booked the house, and they wouldn't answer. She called like over a 30-minute time, like 3 or 4 times. They wouldn't answer. So she ends up going there because she just had this feeling. She walks in the house. She's like, hello, hello, hello. And nobody's answering. So she's walking through the house and she can't find anybody there. So she goes down to the basement, and I don't mean to be graphic, but I want to be graphic. This is what the story was. These women were doing some kind of practice in the basement with used menstrual devices, tampons, and pads, and was like doing some kind of sacrifice or something. And she kicked
That's
them
black
all
magic
out.
right there.
Yeah. So she kicked them all out. So I'm thankful that she was close to the home enough to understand that there was like something's going on, something's bad. But how many of these large locations, Waverly, which I love, I'm not putting Waverly down. I love them because the owners just finally got back into it. There's been a lot of drama with Waverly. Yes, but that's why I'm not really drawn to these large locations, because we don't really know who's going in and coming out.
I will say there's one location that I've been to a couple of times. I won't say which one it is, but I have used this as an example. There's one place they say that they're constantly doing upgrades to the building, and we go there. We go there one year, and we're really checking this place out. We come back a year later, and they're saying the same thing. Yeah, we're constantly working on this place, trying to renovate this place, do upgrades here and there. We go through there. I didn't see one thing done that was different from how it was the year before. So that tells me, okay, this place just wants the money, and they're using the notoriety of the building to bring in the people and bring in that money.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I don't know. I've investigated the Stanley Hotel 4 times, and I love the Stanley Hotel. I'm drawn to that, and I'm drawn to Trans-Allegheny.
I was at Stanley Hotel last year. It's just an amazing place.
I love that place. I love it. I would love to retire and work there. And if y'all come in, I will be your like a Walmart greeter at Stanley Hotel. I love you, the
I
Stanley
will
Hotel.
tell you this, you know, even without the Stanley Hotel, that entire town is just gorgeous.
Well, Estes Park is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love the mountains. Will's in Florida.
Flatland.
But it's not matter of flatland. There's so many haunted locations in Florida
Oh,
that
yeah.
nobody thinks about.
Oh, absolutely. There's so many things. Yeah. There's
Florida, actually.
Oh, really? What
Florida
part?
is absolutely haunted.
What's St. Lucie?
Oh, so just north of me,
that's
literally an
north.
hour north of me. Yeah, I'm in West Palm. So
I used to live there in the 80s when I was just a little kid.
Wow, and that's when it was not even built up. That was right before everybody went there.
When we moved away, they had just started working on building St. Lucie West.
There you go. There you go. And actually, right north of St. Lucie, there's Hope Sound, and Hope Sound is the home of the Devil's Tree. And the Devil's Tree is a place I investigated. And the Devil's Tree is a place where there's this serial killer back in the 70s. He was actually a sheriff's deputy, and he ended up killing a bunch of people and getting away with it and hanging a bunch of girls off this one tree. And now it's in the middle of a park, literally like a biking park. It's in Hope Sound, and you can literally go there, and most people don't even know it's there. And it's this tree that's been they try to burn it down. It's all charred. It doesn't burn. They try to chainsaw it down, and every time they try to chainsaw it down, the links break. So a lot of bad shit happened there, and Florida's full of crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
I'll have to check that out. I'm not familiar with Hope South. The only thing that I know about that's north of Port St. Lucie is there's Fort Pierce there.
Right.
And then they also have White City.
Stewart. Yeah, White City. Yeah. Yep. And that's right before Stewart, and then that's when you get to Stewart, and then that's when you get into the further up. But yeah.
Brad has a question. Wasn't this tree a special documentary somewhere?
I don't know. I did one myself on Dark Fringe.
It's on Dark Fringe. Go to Dark Fringe.
Check it out. We did one, and we got into the serial killer. His name was it was always a 3-name word, right? Or 3-named person, right? John Wilkes Booth, you know what I mean? All those kind of guys, right?
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Lee Harvey Oswald. But this guy is just, he was a sheriff's deputy for Broward County, and he was able to get away with a lot of bad stuff. Yeah. It was
Broward County is a mess in itself.
Well,
there's a lot of stuff goes on.
There's
a lot, but you have the old Davie School there in Broward County, right?
That's true. You have the old Davie School. You have the railroad. You have you go south of there. You have the Cape Coral Castle. And
Cape Coral. I love Cape Coral. I've done a lot of stuff with Cape Coral over the years.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things going on in Broward. There's a lot of stuff going on in Florida. Nobody thinks of Florida being a very haunted location. I don't know. Maybe other people. I'm in Appalachia, so it's all Appalachia with me. But maybe other people. Will, you live there, so maybe you know all the haunted places. But
I'm finding stuff in my own backyard. Just literally, I found out a month ago. There's a place in my like the town I live in right now that there's a graveyard that was built only for the African American community because they wouldn't allow them to be buried in the white people. Area, so they had their own separate place, and it's not even marked. There's no gravestone. There's maybe 12 gravestones, but there's literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of African American people just buried there. So I found the spot and didn't even know it's there, and it's there. So I'm going to see if I can do some investigation out there.
Like indigenous people love their hearts, and you never know what's happening. And so Jeremy, in Indiana, because you're the Hoosiers, Indiana. What's the most haunted locations? You're in Fort Wayne, right?
Yeah.
Fort Wayne. What's the most haunted locations in Indiana? What do you recommend, especially if it's first time investigators? They're just starting out. What do you recommend in Indiana for people to go?
One of my places to go to in Indiana is the Old Lake County Jail, which is in Crown Point. And that one is most famous for John Dillinger, where he escaped from before he got killed.
Wow.
He escaped from there 3 or 4 months before he was shot and killed.
Wow.
That jail there is actually one of my all-time favorites to go to. I have been there more than any other place ever.
Mm.
Um, another place that
The energy that has to be there, I can only imagine.
Well,
any jail or anything like that, all the bad stuff happens there.
It's all the jails. I want to
all the jails.
do something in churches. I want to do something in churches.
Churches,
Go ahead,
jails,
Jeremy.
and hospitals. It's always that, right?
I will say this about
funeral homes.
Wake County Jail is that every time I've been there, every single time something has happened. Even if it's just something minor, something has happened. And that jail is also where I tried out my dog whistle experiment for the first time.
Tell us about that.
So we were there for 2 nights, and in the first night, which was the very first time that I was there, almost nothing happened. That place was dead. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, what can we do to try to really drive up activity? What can we do? And I'm thinking to myself, what about a dog whistle? Because when you're doing an EVP, they answer you, but you don't hear those answers until you play it back on the recorder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most times. Yeah, Brad and his wife are going there for their anniversary. And it's just going to be the 2 of them. So they're going to have that entire day to themselves.
Wow.
They are going to have some fun.
Yeah, they are.
So all that second day, I'm going to store after store after store to try to find a dog whistle. I finally found one, and yeah, Kelly's his bait. And so I finally found 2 dog whistles. Ironically, less than a mile away from the jail itself at the local feed and seed store. I tried about an hour and a half into the investigation, and I had somebody standing right next to me. No sooner than I got done blowing that whistle did he feel a scratch on the back of his neck, deep enough to draw blood.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And I'm thinking,
and you have all that on video too?
Well, he was the one doing the video, so we didn't catch it as it happened. But I think we caught him saying, "Hey, I'm feeling something on the back of my neck," but I don't know where that video is at. It's on my computer somewhere. So then I thought, okay, I'm going to try this whistle some other places. I tried it out at Waverly. I was on the 3rd floor all the way at the far end, and I blew this whistle, and it looked like there was somebody about 15 feet away from me trying to manifest themselves.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I hadn't run cameras in Waverly, so I don't have that.
So when you're saying they're trying to manifest yourselves, because I'll tell you this, I've done paranormal investigating for 24 years. And I'm going to tell you, in 2017, what I document as a full body apparition, I have the EVPs to back it up. What I saw, because I'm not good with cameras, I'm good with voice phenomenon. I saw a head to toe thing. It was not like a shadow figure. This guy manifested. He had a red shirt on. He had a red hat on, blue jeans, white shoes. I saw everything. It was a 7,000 square foot home underground. He worked for the government. There's a huge, big story behind it. And I caught it on audio because I saw this person walking, and I was the only person in this big mansion home underground. And I thought somebody was there, and I saw him bright as can be, like a person. I'm like, and you hear me in this audio, like, let me double check myself. And I'm like, okay, it's not a shadow figure. I'm figuring this out. I saw this guy walk down the hallway, turn right into this room. Then I get an EVP in that says it was me. Plain as day, Class A EVP. Wow. I'm the only person in the home. So to me, after all of these years, and this is the only time I've ever seen this, is a full manifestation a paranormal entity or ghost, if you want to call it, that looked like human, like it looked like it was solid. Everybody, he looked solid. So when you saw this stuff where you're at, Jeremy, was this a solid apparition that you saw, or
it wasn't quite as detailed as what you saw, but this one here was more of a figure. So you can tell that this is definitely a person standing in front of you, but there were no distinctive features to it. Couldn't tell what it was wearing. All I could see was just like a shadow figure,
a silhouette, right?
Yeah, a silhouette. There you go.
We get a lot of that, though. We get a lot of that, and that's the shadow dimensions. What are these people trying to represent?
Right, and in all of the investigations that I've done, I have only seen two like that. One of them was there at Waverly, and then another one was at a quasi-residential home down in Seymour. It was an empty house. It was being completely renovated, and it's one of them fancy houses. You get 3 floors, and then an actual walk-in attic, and at the walk-in attic they had something like a mini bar, and there are, let's see, the 1, 2, so 2 main rooms and then like an offshoot, if that makes sense. So I'm in the far room, and I don't have any cameras, but I'm in the far room and I'm looking into the next room. And then I see what looked like somebody is on the other side of the wall, and they just kind of do this, like seeing, what are you doing?
Like peeking around a corner.
Yeah. And then peeking right back in there, and I go charging after it, and there's nobody there.
Of course. Yep.
Yeah. That was the first time I had ever seen a figure. And then the second time was a couple years ago there at Waverly.
You know what's crazy? I don't know about you guys, but like if I've ever seen this, when I've seen a shadow figure in my experiences, to me it's like darker than dark.
Yes.
That's the only way I can explain it. It's darker than dark.
Yeah.
And people are like, what does that mean? I'm like, I don't know how to explain it, but that it's darker than the darkness that you see in the dark. It's completely different. It's like it's something you can't even explain.
You can see the difference.
You can see it exactly. That's the crazy part of it, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm listening real quick of a EVP of the Leroy Hay house that I was at. That was underground. That and it says that was me. Listen to that real quick. So keep going, Will.
Okay. Well, speaking about EVPs, and I'm talking about my experiences, like I'm talking about that Devil's Tree. You know, I went out there with my co-host Jay, and we spent some time out there, and we tried to do everything we could to try to get some type of EVP. I did some type of provoking, because this guy was not a good guy. John Gerard Schaefer, by the way, that's his name, the serial killer. If you ever want to, guys, look him up. He's a real guy. He died in jail, killed by an inmate. But nonetheless, I'm doing every type of provoking near the tree. And next thing I asked is like, why did you do this? Why did you kill those 2 ladies or 3 ladies that you killed in the tree? And there was this pause, and then you could hear like 2 women talking. You couldn't hear what they were saying, and then you hear his voice saying, "I made a mistake." And I'm just like, okay, all right. You gave me an answer to my question. You made a mistake. I mean, in his mind, he says he made a mistake, but obviously that mistake was,
Well, it's been 15 years since I've been to Florida, but I've been wanting to go back there. So now I know about this tree. I want to go check it out.
Oh, absolutely. I'll go with you, Jeremy. Let me know when you come down.
Oh, Jeremy, pick me up on your way. Pick me up on your way. We'll go together. Road tripping.
Yeah.
I have this freaking. This is the first time after all these years. This happened, I think, in 2017 or 18. This is the full body apparition. Hopefully, you all can hear it. You might have to have headphones on this, but you're gonna listen. I hear the EVP plain as day, so I'll keep going over it a couple times so you all can listen to it. But this is in Grayson. This is a house that's 6,000 feet underground. This guy worked for the government. And he deciphered signals. He had this is like the Kentucky Winchester house, because he had doorways that went to nowhere. So here we go. Let's listen. Shadow. No, I'll start from the beginning. Make sure that wasn't my shadow. Hear it?
Mhm.
That was me.
Mm.
I heard something.
It's like
That was me. It goes, huh,
yeah.
that was me. Listen.
Okay.
Huh, that was me.
Yeah, I hear it.
I saw somebody plain as day that went down that way. I'm gonna
Yeah,
make sure.
with my hearing the way that it is, I am extremely bad at audio, so that's why I just leave it to the other.
Well, that was my that I'm really good at audio, but I grew up in a musically talented family. But that was also, we talked about cats and stuff earlier. Sorry, I don't mean to bring this stuff up right now, but this is happening. This was the place that I got a cat. They had no animals in this home whatsoever. I got a cat. Let me see if I can find it real quick. A cat voice. Leroy Hayhouse. We'll ask a question while I can find this real quick, if you don't mind.
No.
Yeah.
I get it. No. It's I understand. Jeremy, like when you go to these places, I mean, do you ever come back and you feel heavy after these things? Like
Never.
you just gotta like never. You don't, huh?
No. It's hard to explain. I see so many people saying that they are so worn out from investigation. The only time that I'm actually worn out is when I'm really tired
Yeah.
and have been up for 24 hours.
Right.
I don't get the paranormal hangovers that they're always saying. I go to bed, I wake up the next morning, I go about my day.
You know what? That's so amazing that you say that because I'm the same way. I don't get that. And everybody tells me about that. Like, and I'm like, I don't know what that is.
But here's the thing, and I know Adrian will say Adrian's one of my teammates, one of my dear friends, but I'm one of those guys who never feels anything, but
Mhm.
I know that I do to a point.
Mhm.
I can somehow sense certain things, especially if it involves a tree.
Right.
Well, that's
Right.
why I want to check out this tree.
Of
Um,
course.
but I'm never the guy that, well, I don't want to say never, but I am hardly ever the guy that would be like, "Hey, did you see that? Did you hear that?" You
Right.
almost
Right.
never get that.
Oh, I'm like that. I'm like, but I use amplified earbuds and headphones.
Emily hears everything.
Yeah,
But if I do hear something, then that's
I hear my neighbors sometimes, and I don't want to hear that.
yeah. So I've had a lot of people ask me, "Hey, did you hear that?" No.
Well,
You know?
let me. Here's what happened. I did not actually hear this because this was the pre-walk through the house when I was there at this location, and it's I call it the cat cry. It's the first time I ever caught any kind of animal on audio. And then I have another audio where we're just talking about something that manifested that's close to the
Is
ground.
that a 1 second clip you're about to play?
What?
Is that a 1 second clip you're about to play?
No, hold on. You're gonna. It doesn't. Here, listen to this. Ready?
Okay.
Mm.
You hear it? That's
I
the
hear it.
cat.
That's
That's
so,
the
yeah.
cat. And so here's the full. And then later on that night, which this house is connected to Masons. So they used to have a lot of Masonic meetings here, and this is underground. Everybody, this is 6,000 square feet underground. It's like a cave when you turn the lights off. After you get through the first, like you see, I don't know if y'all can see the little images there. The windows are in the front. After that, there's nothing else. But here we saw something in the big like auditorium area that they had where they held the meetings. There was no windows in that place, and the guy I was with, and then his sister that lived in this house at the time, they actually moved out and was living in a hotel because they had so much stuff happen. Us three were in the building at this time, and we saw something that absolutely came up out of the ground. It illuminated, but it was kind of like a fog, and it was close to the ground. It ran to us. I did not hear this cat cry or this cat sound until after I went home and started listening to all the audio. Hold on, let's see here. I think this is it.
That was right here.
I know, it was like close to the ground.
Yeah, like it was like.
It was like, it looked like a animal almost running up to us. I know, it was like close to the ground.
Yeah, like it was like.
It was like, it looked like a animal almost running up to us. So that correlated what we saw after I went back and listened to audio, because I did not hear that cat cry. And this is underground, everybody. Like, there was no animals in the home whatsoever.
You mentioned the Masons, so this house is tied to the Masons?
Yes. 33rd.
That explains it, because Masons are notorious for doing crazy stuff.
Well, and then the 33rd, and then he worked for the government deciphering signals. He had a whole room that had probably, I'm not joking or exaggerating, 50 outlets. I think he had screens upon screens upon screens. And this house that's built underground, it wasn't that long ago. Everybody, this was in 2009 when it was built. The guy died in 2012.
I have actually investigated a Masonic temple in Kansas.
I know what you're talking about, because I've remote viewed that place.
Yeah,
Jeremy.
And that's where I got Lucy, the doll.
It's always a Lucy.
Want me to go get her?
Annabelle or Lucy. Oh, why not? We live on the edge on What the Frick Live. Go get her, Jeremy.
Yeah, give me just
Okay, here we go. So, Dark Fringe Radio.
Yes.
Tell us where we can follow. Tell your website. I don't have your
everywhere.
website.
You can go everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Dark Fringe Radio. Website darkfringeradio.com. Real simple. You go right there. All our stuff is there. Even the investigation I was talking about, the Devil Street. Oh, look at Lucy. Oh boy.
She reminds me of 11 off Stranger Things.
Right? Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
She's 11.
That is wicked looking.
So Lucy was found in a safe on the 4th floor of this Masonic temple.
Oh boy.
And somebody had cut off the top of her head and put in all kinds of junk in there, and then put this little resin dome on top, and then glued it shut. So the only thing that any of us can think is that she was used for some sort of a ritual. Mm-hmm. Yep, Brad does have a picture with Lucy, and it's on TikTok and Instagram. And so the Masons are notorious for doing crazy things, crazy rituals, and I think Lucy here was a part of that.
It seems like she was a vessel of some type. Looks like they.
If somebody cut her head off, Will.
Well, yeah, because they cut her head off and they probably put something in the doll. Either was probably somebody's hair or something. Well, that's what they do.
There is a bone in here.
It's like Lucy should be on Toy Story Part 4 or Part 5.
Toy Story, the Creep Show version.
They have the Creep Show. You know what I'm talking about.
I love
Toy
Creep
Story,
Show.
all those creepy.
Yeah. Actually, I am planning on writing a book about Lucy, but I'm going to make it fictional. But I am planning on writing a book about her.
That's cool. I think that's cool. I love stuff like that. I mean, of course, you got to be very careful with things like that, especially if you have items like that in your house, because you obviously don't know what intention was behind the whole ritual, obviously. Okay, but go ahead.
So Adrian was the first one to get Lucy when the temple was going to get rid of her. They were just going to throw Lucy in the trash. And Adrian said, "No, send it to me. I'll take her." Mm-hmm. She had the doll for about a year. And every time somebody would see this and, "Oh my, that thing is demonic. That thing is evil." No, it's not. The only thing that ever happened during the time that Adrian had her was that she fell off of a shelf. And here's the thing. She's top heavy.
She's top heavy, right?
Yeah. So if you don't have her sitting just right, she's going to fall down. But whenever she would say that Lucy fell over, they're like, "Oh, that's her sending a message." No, it's not.
Well, I think you can speak your own haunting on yourself in many ways. You can speak a haunting in existence. Like if you keep saying
words are very powerful.
Yes. It's life or death is in the power of the tongue. And when you speak something, and this is why I'm passionate about EVPs, because I think those waves are still out there when you speak. Like what I'm saying right now is going to be out there for millions of years. It not fade over time, but that sound wave is still there. And even if we go back to these locations with the presidents and making declarations and stuff down there in Florida with you, Will Martinez, with Lincoln and stuff, go back there if we really want to find EVPs, and maybe it would sound like Lincoln. I honestly, truly believe we would find it. I do. That's why I'm going to run for Congress one of these days, and I'm going to investigate Washington.
Are you going to release everything? You're going to release all the information?
The Lincoln Theater. We're going to get the cats in the Capitol.
Hey, have you ever seen that video of? I don't know if it's real, but it's supposedly it's real, of Lincoln getting shot when he is assassinated.
I have never heard anything like that.
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, you guys might want to look that up. I saw a video. It looked real. It looked like it would make sense, like back in that time. And it was all set up like the stage, and Lincoln was sitting up at the mezzanine level, and all of a sudden you see a guy go over there, shoot him in the head, and jump down from the mezzanine down to the stage. And I don't know, man. To me, like things like that is just like, wow.
We got today. It is so easy to fake stuff.
That's what I'm saying, right? Yeah. Yeah.
But the concept of doing a moving picture wasn't invented until years after Lincoln was killed.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Because I remember seeing a clip of the guy that made the first moving picture, and it was a guy on a horse, and I want to say that was 1880s.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Oh no, I love Gilded America. I got a minor in that in college. I freaking love Gilded America, and we always have a reset. And we had so much technology that people don't even talk about back then in the late 1800s and stuff. But we just have a few minutes left, Jeremy. I want everybody. We're gonna let you go, and then Will and I will close out the show and stuff. Jeremy, just real quick, where can people find you the quickest and be part of Things Network?
People can find me everywhere, really. Just about on any social media under the name Jeremy E. York. If you look for me on TikTok, either type in my name or type in the handle, which is the Paranormal Adonis, which was a joke name that ended up sticking no matter how hard I fought it. Finally, I had to embrace it because it was either that or another nickname that I really hated.
Okay, yeah.
But you can also find
Nick Foley is the nickname.
It wasn't that.
He hated.
No, you can also find me on the Things Network. I'm a regular host on 3 shows, and I make regular appearances on a 4th show called Fear Fans. But that's only when they're reviewing a horror movie that I've seen.
Oh, nice.
Well,
nice.
we truly.
I try to keep a low profile, to be honest, because I'm kind of backing away from the paranormal. Because right now my priorities have shifted, and right now I'm just writing stories and writing books. I'm working on 5 books right now, and every now and then throwing in a short story to write just to get a little bit of a break.
Well, we appreciate it. We didn't even talk about wrestling. So that just means, Jeremy, you're going to have to come back on in the future. And we didn't talk about the, why you have the eye patch or anything, what's happened with you health-wise. But I'm thankful for you. You're a good friend to me. And you are one of the best people I've ever met in the paranormal field. And I admire you and respect you very much. And I thank you so much for coming on What the Freak Live. We're going to have to do a part 2. That's all there is.
There you go.
So we'll let you go, and Will and I will close out the show. So thank you, Jeremy, and
thank you, Jeremy.
Paranormal Wars. We're going to be working on that too soon. So.
Yeah, let's not go there. Thank you for having me on the show, and thank you, audience, playing along. Enjoyed it, and I look forward to coming back, but not for 2 months at least.
No. We're
I'm having a couple of surgeries over the next couple of weeks, so I'm going to need a little bit of recovery time.
Good luck on the surgeries, my friend.
Yeah, we'll get you back, though, Jeremy. Love you very much. Have a great weekend.
Bye, guys.
Peace.
All right, there we have it. Jeremy York with Things Paranormal Things Network. Awesome
There you
show
go.
for you to come back, Will.
Yeah, right. Right.
We didn't even talk about wrestling.
No, we didn't. That's okay though. People are not here for wrestling; they're here for the paranormal, which is great.
We're gonna have to do it next time. So thank everybody for tuning in. Please share this out if you're watching via social media. It helps our show. It helps our guests most and foremost.
Yes.
And our network. We appreciate you all. You can follow Will Martinez at darkfringeradio.com. Obviously, EmilyMenshouse.org. What the Frick Live. We're gonna have a lot of stuff happening. We got merch now.
Oh Lord, look at that.
And yeah, Linktree is the best way to keep up. So subscribe to Linktree, everybody, if you can.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be having giveaways and everything, hopefully this summer coming up. I'm gonna be building the Linktree and the merch and all that stuff. So we appreciate everybody. We're gonna be back here next week, next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Chris Shelton. It's part 2. Will's not gonna be with us next week. Rick's gonna be back for part 2 of Chris Shelton facial readings. We're going to get into Britney Spears, CGI, all that kind of fun stuff.
Oh, Lord. She's a complete mess lately, isn't she?
I think she's dead. I think she's dead.
You think she's dead? Oh, one of those. Okay, I got you.
Died in a car wreck in 2009. I'll send you the information on why I think she's dead. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. What the Frick Live. Stay here. Right after us, we got the Church of Mavis here on 107.7 FM New Orleans. We love you all. Have a